And we're live, guys, live right now on the Gridsy session. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're brand new, please smash that subscribe button. It really, really helps us grow this awesome channel. We have 3 superstars joining us as a guest today. We're filming this live right now on Twitch, 10 p.m. Eastern. Galactic Legend Heinzie, the only place to be. It is some crazy, crazy stuff. It really is. We've got an absolute superstar joining us for the first time. Avinash, welcome, my dear. How you going? Thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you.
I am so happy to be here.
Everyone's a winner.
It's about frickin' time.
That's not the first time I've heard
Jesus,
that.
Heinz.
But she's right. She's telling the truth. She's telling the truth. Better late than never, though. That's what it's all about. It really is. We've got Ragan himself, the Fireball legend, our boy. Thank you so much, mate. Great to have you with us, brother. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me on again. Glad to be here.
Always. And we got that flog with the hair and the beard and all that sort of stuff. You know that guy, Grid. How are you, mate?
Good as always, man. Thanks for having me, brother. As always, each week I look forward to it. So just happy to be here.
It's crazy. Dude, we got a lot to talk about. It's all been happening. It really has. We've, of course...
yeah, what a week.
Arena is, in the past. Arena rewards are gone. They're all in GAC coming next week. So I want to start, if I can, with Avi. Now, Avi is someone, obviously, we're having a chat before, and you're actually not a huge fan of GAC at all, if I'm correct, Avi. Is that right?
No, I'm not. And I think it's mostly because I don't have the time. You know, when you're trying to run a couple of alliances and a couple guilds and everything else, and TW and TB, and you're thrown into with GAC now in trying to get the crystals. I don't have the time.
Yeah, it's great. So how's this going to affect you overall, do you think? Because do you just play one account, or you've got multiple? You've got a lot, haven't you?
Well, when I first started, let me tell you, I used to have 14 accounts.
14 accounts. Oh my God. 14.
14. I have whittled it down to 5.
Wow.
So, but 2 of them are baby ticket alts, and I really don't do anything with them. One of them I kind of half-ass with. And then I've got my 2 main accounts. Basically, my alt is also a main account because it's got everything on it too. And I do Conquest on both of those accounts.
Yeah, gotcha. Wow.
So, yeah, between Conquest and GAC, it's just... I'm like,
I can imagine that. I can barely do 1 or 2. Like, seriously, that's madness.
I got max crate on both of them last time. I about went insane. I was like, slide me under the table and give me a few drinks because it was finally done.
I don't blame you. So how's the changes going to affect you the most? I mean, obviously, most of them, of course, are tied into GAC and rewards and performance in that. You're gonna struggle a bit, aren't you, with the crystal returns going forward? Is that right? Going forward?
Yeah, I am. I really am, because I'm only going to be able to play GAC sporadically. I don't have the time. For example, if Offense Day is right in the middle of TW Offense Day, I'm not going to have the time because I'm directing the TW, I'm doing the bot, I'm calling out counters, all this stuff. I don't have time. Yeah. I just don't have time.
No, absolutely. And keep in mind, of course, now that, Territory Wars is definitely more intense than ever with the additional teams you got to chuck out there. You just have to spend so much more time on Territory Wars as well going forward. So they really need to sort of try and automate that.
It's a lot more precise. It's a little bit more hardcore. My guild was always a little bit more relaxed in terms of TW.
Yep.
But it's hard to turn a more relaxed guild into more hardcore overnight.
No,
so
absolutely.
it's definitely a process.
100%.
With that.
So,
and with GAC, it's like I just kind of want to maybe what I might do is just kind of set a FU defense.
And just hit when you can.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to come up with some interesting combinations, and then I'm just going to set them all, good luck in trying to clear. That would be my game, to see.
But you're almost better because you actually don't get any points for setting defenses now. Aren't you better just to set trash and then just use all the toys and set it on auto?
Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be the way to go, isn't it? I think that's going to make more sense for you.
I'm gonna have it initially set up, and I think they still have it so that with the subsequent defense settings that you can, whatever the first one was set, it'll repeat itself.
Gotcha.
I'm assuming that's going to be the same way as it was before.
It'll be better. Yeah, it'll be better. Just got to get cranking each
Right.
phase. Gotcha. No worries.
It'll be a fun game just to see if somebody can clear.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Absolutely. I mean, there's so much to work through, isn't there? We really won't know, until next week how everything's going to settle down with new characters as well. And we'll come back to that in a little while. Ragan, your thoughts overall with the changes, mate? We haven't had a chat to you about this at all. Are you happy with GAC, the rewards moving there, or Arena, or what do you prefer? Anything in particular?
I literally only play this game for GAC at this point. So yeah, I like the changes. I've taken a hit to crystals because I'm in a Rhodium 3 now. So I could get first every day in Arena with JMK. I hate climbing though. So I'm okay that I'm losing out on some crystals just purely because I don't have to do that anymore. And I like that I don't have to do that anymore. I think it's funny because I don't know if I agree with what you said, Avi, about not more time towards GAC. Then again, I don't do as much. I'm not a TW officer, so I can't speak to that. And absolutely, I understand that is essentially a full-time job in and of itself. So like mad respect for that. But I like that GAC being just a 24-hour period means, for people who are pressed for time, it might be harder at the top to hammer out a GAC in 20 minutes, but you have a whole day to kind of find a spot to make it fit. Kind of like how Squad Arena worked, but now you just don't have to do it all at once. You can space it out if you need to. So I like the flexibility of crystals going to GAC for that reason. I think it's a good change, personally. It's going to be a shit show for the first couple of weeks, absolutely. There's going to be some bad matchups, but I think once the algorithm works itself out, as long as matchmaking is okay, it's a good change, and I'm looking forward to it.
Fair enough. Grid, you happy with the transition, mate? How have you found it? What do you think the community's thinking about it overall? I actually haven't heard a crazy amount of outrage with the change. Probably not as much as I thought. There's been certainly a lot of people retiring. Mm-hmm. I've seen that. But Grid, your thought overall with the changes, mate? Have you seen it more overall positive or negative, or a bit of both? What do you reckon, bud?
I mean, with any change, there's always going to be, opposing sides, and somebody's going to side with this and be upset about that, and somebody's going to be happy about the exact same thing. Like, it's always going to happen. I think we haven't heard as much about it because, I mean, again, I bring this up like every time, but just statistically speaking, there's one person per hour, per day, per shard who can take first. And that's it. There's no other way around it. I know there's some places that have like that 30-minute time zone, which I've never, I know it's out there, but it's not super common. Anyways, my point being is there's a much larger percentage of the player base that is not taking first than the percentage of the player base that is taking first. Just statistically speaking, it's not possible. And so when you're weighing out the pros and cons, I know it sucks for some people out there. Absolutely. And I'm sorry. And my condolences. And while I happen to be someone who may get a crystal bump out of this, I truly don't care. Even without the crystals, I love GAC and I was playing GAC. I just found it very fun. And Squad Arena was very dull. It's very monotonous. It's very repetitive. It just wasn't fun. And having, I'll say I agree with a lot of what Ragan is saying. Having Squad Arena be the main driving force of the game because it's your main source of crystal income meant that one team was always the most important thing in the game. So when a new character came out, if it didn't help your Squad Arena, a lot of the times people didn't care about it. It was hard to justify caring about somebody that joined the game if it didn't help you get more crystals.
Yeah.
And I think now instead of going from one singular team benefits your crystal income, and then talking obviously about Squad Arena, you got Fleet and other stuff, but when it comes to Squad Arena, talking about one team benefits your crystal income, you now have the kind of now have this sort of flexibility that, for me and Kyber, there's 11 teams. So I have to put 11 teams on defense and use 11 teams for offense. So that's 55 characters on defense and 55 characters on offense. So now it's a lot easier for me to justify having 110 good characters. And so I can build up a lot more squads, and I don't necessarily have to feel guilty about, well, instead of just going, because I've been on the GL farms for, I don't know, like a year and a half or 2 years now. I don't even I started with SLKR. After SLKR, I went for C. After C, I went for JML. After JML, I went for JMK. And now I'm going for Lord Vader. I've never been able to stop because I have to keep going for the next thing to benefit my squad arena. And now I can I'm actually taking a breath and I can say, actually, you know what? Let me build up my Imperial Troopers. Let's get Dark Trooper leveled up. Let's get the armor leveled up. Let's get some of these other squads leveled up because I can justify it now instead of only going for my one team that benefits my squad arena. So I really like the changes. I think it benefits a lot of people. I would agree also with Ragan that since you have 24 hours to attack and set defenses in GAC, I think that's really nice. Do a battle or two this hour, do a battle or two that hour. You go to the bathroom, do a battle. You got time. You can do some battles here and do some battles there.
The day of calling a toilet break and work to do a payout is over. And look, let's be honest. Yeah. Everyone's done it. Even if you say you don't, you've all been sitting on a can.
Absolutely.
You've all done an arena battle.
So guilty of that.
Everyone is
so guilty.
Doing a battle right now.
Everyone is.
I'm too sweet and innocent to do it. The bathroom.
Don't give me that, Abby. Don't you dare give me that. You were going all right until you pulled that trash. Seriously, you were going all right until then. You were going all right until then. Hey, look, let's.
Long story short, I think it's good and healthy for the community, and
100%.
It does shaft people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And it helps a lot of people. And I really hope they're not done with matchmaking. I'll just toss that in there real quick. I think moving towards this win-loss sort of skill-based record, I think that's good and healthy. But the problem is there's a difference between skill and just straight up roster. It doesn't matter if you have a 2 million GP roster, you can't beat a 7 million GP roster. It's impossible. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So I do hope they narrow that down a little bit to say, keep the same sort of league and division and win-loss ratio that you have, but still give us an entry-level GP. And that way somebody who's in, maybe make it a little bit wider, maybe like 2 to, 3.5 or even 4 million GP or something like that.
Yeah.
But say only these people in the 1 to 1.5 or 2 to 3.5 or 4 million GP, you guys are all right here. And then you guys go by win-loss ratio. And then when you bump up from the brackets, then you restart back at Bronzium or, whatever. So something to kind of combine the two matchmaking styles that we had, because right now, I will fully admit it. Ragan is a fantastic GAC player. He took, what was that, second? At one time in the world, he took second place. He's a great GAC player, but no matter what, again, no offense meant, but if me and Ragan got matched up because of our win-loss ratios, it unfortunately wouldn't work out. Did
you just say you'd kick his ass, Ragan? Did you just say that?
I would never say that.
I swear you did.
I would never say that.
I swear you did. I swear I heard it. But
I would set all 4 of my Galactic Legends on defense with Gas and Sith Empire and CLS and everything, and he couldn't get through
I got
it.
DACA.
That's true. You do have DACA lead, so you win.
Hey, I upped my cup to R5, so I'm good.
And then you would win.
And my Clone Wars Chewie, yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm
I
waiting
got you beat
for
on that. Mine's Relic 7.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a cup rework. Mine's at Relic 8, so the sooner the better. Bring it
Damn
on.
it.
Absolutely. Guys, let's talk. Let's talk about, of course, we have the event live next week, Starkiller event. It's in the game. Characters in our games, in our roster, just grayed out at the moment, waiting for activation for many people. But we need to talk, of course, about the last character, which was leaked by Apple weeks ago, which is hilarious. It actually has cost Cubs and Omicron on Rose Tico, which to me is absolutely freaking hilarious.
That is so gross.
But Mara Jade, the
I
Empress
can't believe you
hand,
bet that.
dropped in a few days
Oh.
ago into the game, and man, she, to me, look, I'm going to say it, she's the pick of the bunch so far. She's incredible. I like what she's bringing to the table. Avi, have you got Mara Jade, or is this a character you're interested in at all going forward? Where are you at?
Oh, I've got her. Right now, she's only 5-star, just to kind of it right now, but I'm not sure how far I want to take her yet.
Fair enough. And again, do you think you're going to use her a fair bit? Are you pretty keen on what she's going to bring to the table? You gonna check the Omicron on or not?
I'm
What are you
doing
thinking?
some nice little testing with some friends of mine in like Shard. So I kind of want to see what she does, and I'm pretty excited about it actually.
Yeah, fair enough. Ragan, your thoughts on Mara Jade, brother? I'm a fan. What about you?
She's good. She's very good. She's fun. I like that a lot of the new characters they've brought in have some 3-star viability. Like they're not just, you got to gear 13 them. A lot of them have like just the synergy in their kits work really well. So I'm a fan of all of the new characters. I think they're really good additions. They're going to make GAC more interesting. Territory Wars. I think they're good.
Fair enough. No, it's good. Grid, your thoughts overall, mate? I'm a fan. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, in a simple phrase, yeah, absolutely. I think they're all doing their jobs. Dash Rendar is elevating the scoundrels. Kyle Katarn has brought up the rebel fighters. Mara Jade is definitely elevating the Empire. I mean, you can go as far as to beat GL Luke at this point. They're all doing their job of elevating these teams, which, again, as we were talking about, since the emphasis is switching from one individual meta team to instead a more of a wider range of teams for GAC, they're doing their job. They don't have to join the game and be the top meta #1 team in the game. Their job is to help elevate some of these teams over here and over there and over here and over there. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're just making some of these teams that were already pretty decent just become that much more viable.
Yeah.
And I frankly, I think that's really healthy for the game. Instead of just only loving your one meta team in arena, now you can elevate some of these other teams that are out there, and I'm really happy with them. The graphics have been amazing.
Yes.
The kit designs have been really interesting and really unique. I was really happy to see that. I did not want to see somebody join the game that was just this very boring, useless, nonchalant character. And I also didn't want to see him join the game and have very boring graphics and just be a copy paste of somebody else. They all have these very unique graphics and very unique feels to them that are just, I mean, that ability of Kyle Katarn where he hits them and then jumps back while spinning throws the lightsaber, gorgeous.
Yeah, 100%.
So cool. Mara Jade, she does that like flip and then like the upward sweep with the lights. It's so cool. Not even to get in Starkiller. I know we'll talk about him in a moment.
We're going to come back to that in a minute.
Yeah, they are very well done. You can tell. And the interview with, I believe it was Ranger. I haven't watched all of them like in super detail, but I watched the Ranger Darth Talon one.
Yeah.
And Ranger was really drilling those guys about like, how did you come up with this stuff for Darth Talon? And they were talking about how much that they read up on the character and how much they watched some of the or looked at and studied the drawings of Darth Talon and stuff that she had done in comics and whatnot. And same thing with Kyle Katarn and all these other characters, how well they studied them to make the kits absolutely make sense, both lore wise and make sense in the game. They did a really good job with these.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. So many would say when it comes to Darth Talon, though, which we didn't talk about, a lot of people say she's just a little bit overdressed in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
I've heard that complaint several times. Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no? Or obviously we need to keep it reasonably friendly, I assume. But would you prefer for her to be schemed in a different way? Or Avi, you happy with how she's turned out?
Honestly, if dependent upon knowing what she was wearing before, she could have, she definitely has to be Disney, clothed in that sense because, for Disney.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she doesn't need to be wearing that much.
There we go, straight up. So there you go, sassy Talon. You heard it straight
Something
from Abby.
in between.
She wants
Something
a sassy.
in between.
She wants a sassy one. There we go, straight up. But look, let's get to Starkiller. Let's talk about Starkiller. We got the kit. We got all the goodies. Look, there's only one thing. There's only one thing that we need to see right now, guys. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen. Give me 1 second, because seriously, this is the only thing in my mind that really matters, and that's this right here. Size means nothing. This is an incredible graphic in this game. I am really, really impressed with how this looks. I didn't see this coming at all, but that to me looks absolutely incredible. Do you guys agree with what I'm saying here, or what do you think overall? I think that's just beautiful. I really do.
Honestly, the only thing that comes to mind when I see this is why the fuck is Lord Vader's animations not cool?
Like, we need some of that classic action.
Right. We know what they can do. They can do this. And Lord Vader, he has a hand wave. He has a lightsaber slash. He has a secondary lightsaber slash. And those are his animations.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And with that in mind, then, what would you have preferred then, Lord Vader, to have?
You know, that's tough. That's tough. Like, if I could go through and redesign the character, you know, I feel like they could have pulled from episode 3, because they did with Obi-Wan. You know, I will do what I must. That ability is pulled straight from the battle, and it would have been cool. You know, they have that kind of moment, Obi-Wan and Anakin, where they like lock hands, and it's like the big repulse. Maybe they could have taken something like that. I know Battlefront 2 has him in, like, it's more from the Clone Wars, but they have like him kind of the Mortis, I think it was.
Yeah.
Goes to more like the Mortis arc, where he's fighting the father, the son and the daughter, and he's holding up them at the same time. They could have done something like that.
Yep.
I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I guess, like, if you're looking at just Lord Vader, it's a little hard to design him, but I wanted his ultimate to be Nightfall. The clone troopers lined up behind him marching on the temple. That's what I wanted his ult to be, and they didn't deliver on that at all. Kind of disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. How's Grid? We need to talk about Starkiller's Omicron. Grand Arena specialist, he will be.
Omicrons.
Yes,
Omicrons.
I'm sorry, there are 3. I'm talking about there is much conflict in you. That's the one that to me is interesting, because that brings a character into the fold that our friend Vidodi loves. Visas was mentioned, obviously, in the recommended team to use with it. We need to go through this quickly, right? So all the following bonuses at the start of battle, if we have the particular lineups. So was it one Force user, one unaligned Force user, one Sith, Dark Side, unaligned First user,
one Udu, one Jedi, and one Sith.
There we go, straight up. So this is crazy, right? So you're going to get 100% crit damage, max health, 35 speed, 100% max protection, and then immune to daze or stun. But in Grand Arena, you get at the start of the battle, Jedi tanks taunt for a turn. All allies have plus 35 speed. Debuffed enemies deal 50% less damage. Whenever a Sith ally uses basic ability, Starkiller assists 20% less damage. That's just cool. Whenever another Dark Side Unaligned Force user uses a special ability, allies gain crit hit immunity for turn. And Starkiller uses a special ability, Light Side Healer, allies have their cooldowns reduced by 4. Jedi Tank allies gain damage immunity and taunt for 1 turn. He's going to be fun in Grand Arena, isn't he? He really is going to be a handful. It's going to be some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm so scared when I go up against this guy for the first time. I'm probably gonna have to use a Galactic Legend. I think there's some possibility of like maybe a CLS possibly keeping up with him. We'll see. But yeah, the kit's crazy. The kit's absolutely crazy. Jedi Tank, the one that came to mind immediately for that was actually Old Ben.
Ooh.
If you think about it, Old Ben is obviously a very obnoxious tank in the first place, because when he loses taunt, he'll immediately regain taunt anyways. But whenever there's a very specific part that caught my attention there is whenever Starkiller uses a special ability, which is obviously going to be all the time.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, it's light side or healer allies. Light side healer allies will have their cooldowns reduced by 4.
Yeah.
I'm so curious what you can make happen with what light side healer could you take advantage of that steep of a cooldown decrease on.
Yeah.
I think that'll be really interesting to see how we can take advantage of that. You got dark side and light side unaligned force users. Cat ultimately I think is a waste because nobody's really going to be gaining anything from that. But like Thesis and Fulcrum come to mind on that one.
Oh, Fulcrum, here we go.
he has such an interesting kit. And one thing that's like you have to weigh that unique versus other aspects of his kit. Like, is it worth it to take him out of a team? Maybe, you know, you take him away from, you know, Lord Vader, or you're taking away from just like an Empire or Sith team to put him with a Jedi and a Sith and an online dark side and light side user to get all this stuff. Well, that ability that we think is so cool, pulling the Star Destroyer out of the air, that deals damage based off of his max health.
Yeah.
And if you have all of that stuff in there, if you have that unique, he has plus 100% max health. And so it's going to be giving you even more damage on that, you know, quasi ultimate ability. There's a lot to digest.
A lot to unpack. Yeah, there's a lot
to unpack. I'm curious what his actual damage output is going to look like, what his actual max health and all these other stats looks like. And just, God, what a character though.
Yeah.
What an interesting and cool and unique character. I'm really curious to see how he actually plays out, but
yeah.
I'm excited to get
It'll
him
be
for
fun.
sure.
Avi, I'm going to move to Ragan about this one because I just want to talk to him about GAC. Obviously, you're not a fan, so let's move to Ragan quickly. Huge shake-up to this GAC kicking in, mate. The introduction of Omicrons is going to be massive. It really is. We really don't know how a lot of these characters are going to behave yet because they're not in the wild, in action in GAC, man. What are you expecting, Ragan, overall, when you jump into GAC next week, mate? It's going to be pretty epic.
I don't know what to expect, and I'm kind of excited about that. Like you said, things are going to shake up a lot. I have a couple teams that, because of the month off, I've been like farming some side projects. I did get the Dash team. I have him at gear 11, and I have a couple of them relic, a couple of them gear 12. So I'm curious how that team's going to do. I actually really like Dash with the BAM team as well. He's very good there. Don't underestimate that. That team is going to be solid. I'm telling you right now.
But BAM is garbage.
Yeah. No, bad.
Oh,
I think it's going to be exciting. I think one of the big ones is Qui-Gon. Everyone's pulled the trigger on Qui-Gon right now. That's like the Omicron that everyone wants. I haven't done it yet. I'm curious to see what's going to happen because I think that team's going to get beat really fast.
Well, yeah, we actually went through, if I can show you guys quickly, we actually on Thursday we had the Night Brothers stream that we did with Lego and our boy Hirsch as well. We actually went off swigo.gg to see what Omicrons are getting thrown on where. If I can quickly bring it up and show you guys and get your opinion on what you think as well. Just got to find it here. Give me a sec. And here we go. All right, so here's the list. So this is what's been thrown on so far for the reworked ones, not the new ones as such. So Qui-Gon, 12,751 people as of 48 hours ago had put the Omicron on Qui-Gon straight away, followed up by Phasma, of course, at 12.5. So they're both pretty even. But Rollo at number 3 is an interesting one. Nebbit at 4, Zam at 5 with 900, Kyle at 6, Darth Talon at 7, Dash at 8. He was one of the earlier ones. 500, only 500 have done him. Rose Tico going to be 475
Cubs
soon.
is one of those.
Cubs, no, not yet. It was going to be one more. It's going to be 475 on Monday. And then of course we've got Sidious and Chirpa that have just been released, so we put the asterisks next to them. But Rollo at 3rd is a real surprising one. What do you guys, Avi? Is there any there that sort of stand out to you that you go, wow, I didn't think that would be there at that level, or what do you think, if I can ask?
I was surprised that as many people are doing Darth Sidious. I know one of my guild mates had done the Omicron on Darth Sidious today, and in looking at his kit, I was like, oh, wow, that could be a definite possibility. I am shocked about Rose Tico. I'm sorry. 474 people. Oh, my flipping God. What the hell?
Well,
Holy
there you
cow.
go.
I
There you
mean,
go.
like, here's the thing about Rose.
Uh-oh.
It's a turn meter based Omicron on a turn meter based team, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like I'm not saying it's good, but it's not, it could catch people off guard because as soon as someone on a resistance team AoEs, that whole team gets 25% turn meter now.
I mean, the good
That's
thing
gonna
is
catch people.
Cubs reminded me the other day on how effective Rose is going to be under Galactic Legend Ray.
Think about like CLS lead. CLS lead is 5% turn meter every time someone gets resisted, I believe. It's 5 or 10, something like that. So
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It very similar thing. That it doesn't look very strong on paper, but first off, you have different teams you can plug her into right off the hop. And resistance, they do turn meter. That's their whole game. And critting, they crit a lot. So they're going to get lots of free TM that way.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that's one of the better Omicrons for GAC over time.
Yeah. I am, as I say, Cubs was thrilled in telling me that Rose is going to be useful under Galactic Legend Ray, which is great. Only one problem. Cubs doesn't have Ray. Sucks to be you, Cubs. Have fun with that, mate. Have fun. With JTR lead, it's not going to work the same, mate, but you have fun with that.
We can just direct the question towards Heinze.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to be going up against, say, a Ray team, JTR that had Rose in it with an Omicron, do you think JML would beat it?
JML could be a bit trickier. I mean, I would normally chuck, C.
Because I heard you're a fan of taking JML up against JTR.
Oh, you son of a... Hey, Unwrapped, a new game change came in that actually shows me before I go in what bloody team I selected in the top corner. That was made for me. That was made for me to make sure that I actually do select the right bloody team before I go into battle, Grid. That's what that one's all about. It really is. But, guys, I'm excited. I like the changes. I think it's great.
If I could chime on on that list there, I will always favor Grand Arena Omicrons over Territory Battles, Territory Wars, anything of the sort, because that is now crystal income. It's just like when people were to ask me about, farming X, Y, or Z team, you always kind of have to loop back to, does this help your squad arena team? Because that's your crystal income.
Yeah.
So it's the exact same conversation now, but with Grand Arena. So do these Omicrons benefit Territory Battles, Territory Wars, Grand Arena? I will rate all of the Grand Arena ones higher than any of the Territory Battles and Territory Wars ones, because there's not as much of a crystal income on the line.
Yeah.
So like, even though I think Ragan has valid points that there is a lot of turn meter gain to be had with the Rose Tico Omicron, I would rate it still above those Territory Battles and Territory Wars Omicrons, because there's not as much crystals to be had. So I'm also very kind of intrigued that so many people invested so much into like Rolo.
Rolo's the surprising one for me. That's
the biggest surprise for me there. And even Phasma. Like, Phasma's not a bad one, but that's Territory Wars.
Yeah,
so again,
but in a mid-range guild, mate, a lot of people do get caught out with it, to be honest. It's pretty underestimated. And at the moment, it was one of the earlier ones, so I can understand why people would go for it. But the other thing to consider as well is that because there's no way really having a look at that character knowing if the Omicron's on or not, it's caught a lot of people off guard. So I think that's probably why a few have gone after that earlier than later. But yeah, we'll have to wait.
If that was in Grand Arena, I'd go for it all day.
Yeah.
Territory Wars, I'm a little perplexed by. Qui-Gon, I won't fault a single person for putting that down. A lot of the conversations that people have had about it are, it's really funny. Some people have, commented and messaged like, dude, who cares about Qui-Gon's Omicron? I'll just use gas against it. I'm like, dude, that's a win in my book. If you're using gas against my Qui-Gon, absolutely, I'll take that all day. Absolutely. But there's going to be other teams that will beat it. But it takes a team that had no place in Grand Arena whatsoever, now has a spot in Grand Arena. I think that's pretty worth it. Zam, I think, is going to be a hugely, as we can tell by that list, that's a hugely underrated Omicron. If
agree,
you have the
100%.
bounty hunters to go along with it, it doesn't have the same scaling effect of Qui-Gon's, I don't think, because Qui-Gon is one character, benefits the entire team by an exponential percentage. And Zam's is a smaller percentage, benefits the whole team, but doesn't bump them as high. But if you don't have good bounty hunters, I don't think it's really worth it. If you have gear 11, gear 10 bounty hunters, it's not going to do a whole lot for you. But if you're going for Executor or Lord Vader and you already have some relic bounty hunters, Zam's will be disgusting. You're going to start that match and just boom, 80 speed on your entire team. Like that's a really good one too. I'm a little surprised not as many people have Zams as I kind of thought would be out there. So I'm interested to see how it's going to continue developing.
So
I really am.
Okay, so have you put an Omicron on yet? Have any of you guys put one on yet? Have you dropped an Omicron? You have? Avi, what'd you put it on?
I did it on Phasma because it was for the good of the guild. And that's one of the things that with the Omicrons, now you've got your guild type of Omicrons. That would be for basically TW. And then you've got your individual ones based on either territory battles or GAC. And that's a choice that people need to make. And it's a hard choice because there's going to be guilds, especially at the tippy top, that say, for the guild, this is what you need to put on for Omicron. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it for territory wars because that's what we expect. But at the same time, they shouldn't really be able to dictate because the Omicron is hard to get, at least at this point. And it's a rare, super rare item. So to be able to get it, you should be able to place it on something that you're going to need. Do you do it for the guild or do you do it for your individual? And that could be for GAC, to be able to get better crystals and to be able to place higher and be able to continue to get your income. And that's going to be a lot for free-to-play players. But it depends upon what guild you're in, depends upon what level of guild you're in, and depends upon what's expected.
Yeah, that's fair. Reagan, have you chucked an Omicron on anything yet, mate, or are you holding back?
I want to see what happens after week 1. So, again, I'm a GAC player, so I don't really care about the TW ones. I know there are lots of people who are going to be drawn to that, and there's going to be, people are going to have a shortage because they're going to be choosing between the two. I don't think there's a lot of characters right now that necessarily need it. Like Qui-Gon is an obvious one. I'm curious how that one's going to do because I'd like to give it to him if it could catch people off guard. Zam, I really like. That one's going to be really good as time goes on, I think. But I'm tempted to just hoard for Star Killer, to be honest, right now. Just see how everything settles before I make a decision. Don't really want to have, buyer's remorse right now because they are so scarce. And I don't think they're make or break like people are making them out to be. Like if one person has 2 Omicrons and you have 0, I don't think they're winning a GAC just because not that many people are going to have Star Killer and 3 Omicrons to throw on him, right? Yeah. Same thing for TW with Boba. So yeah, people are scared right now, but no one has them right now as well. So we can kind of wait and see. We're going to get more over time. There's going to be a less of a crunch over time. I would wait if you're kind of on the fence, just see where things settle first. Because we haven't, first couple weeks
we haven't had a new release yet without an Omicron in it. I think this is going to be the norm. I think pretty well every single one going forward. It's like a Zeta 2.0. I think we're going to get Omicrons on every character. And
I agree.
You have to be careful going forward on which ones you select. Grid, your thoughts, mate, before we wind this up. Any advice for anyone, with their Omicrons as well? What do you recommend they do?
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, I would not fault anybody for putting down the Qui-Gon Zeta. I think, Omicron. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm right on the fence about to do it. It's one of those risky things. We did the numbers, we did the stats, we figured out, roughly what some of your characters would look like. With an Omicron and Qui-Gon sacrifice and all that good stuff. It is a risk, but I think it's Again, it's just a risk. Week 1 is the week where nobody knows what's going on. No one knows what's going on. And so when you go up against a Qui-Gon Jinn team, you can either your opponent's either going to overestimate it and throw out, a really, really, really good team, or they're going to underestimate it and bring out a team that can't handle it, or they lose a lot of banners, or something of the sort. But as soon as 1 week goes by, even one round, videos start popping up. I beat Qui-Gon, Omicron with this. I beat Qui-Gon Omicron with Bad Batch. I think that's one team that'll do it.
Oh, Bad Batch is going to kill them.
Yeah, I beat Qui-Gon with, Gas was super easy. CLS, JKL. Oh, I did make Darth Vader work against, I don't know, whatever. As soon as that happens and people get a little bit more comfortable with the idea of how to beat it, then it loses some of that value. And so it's like, I'm tempted to put it on there that first week just to try and catch some of those people off guard. But at the same time, I'm like, it is 20 Omicron. I have 40 right now. I can drop 2 if I want. I haven't yet. I'm tempted to, and I might. We'll see. I'm probably going to flip a coin or something, just decide right before GAC lock if I'm actually going to drop it. Yeah. But I would say for the majority of people, wait and let some of us make the mistakes for you.
Yes, that's the way it is. Yeah, absolutely.
These resources are scarce right now. Give it a couple of months or a year or something like that, and everybody's going to have a whole bunch of Omicrons all over the place, so it won't be as big of a deal. Yeah. Here up front, let some of the other people who have a bunch of them throw them out there, watch some of the videos, and then make your decision. Informed. Make an informed decision, not just a inferred decision about how good these Omicrons might be.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
That's kind of where
Couldn't
I'm
agree more. Guys, absolutely fantastic as always. Thanks so much for your opinion. Avi, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. Grid as well, mate, and Ragan, thank you guys. We'll be back again next week. We're still recording this live. We're going to finish this video and go and do some really, really, really crazy like we normally do every single week. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, give us your comments, let us know what you guys think as well in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. Until then, we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Love ya. Bye.